Another light from Thrunite. This one is an interesting one. This one's different. This is the Thrunite TN20. This happens to be the cool white version. There's also a neutral white of this if you are so inclined. It has their new cardboard packaging, which I prefer. On the inside, here's the light, what would appear to be a standard mild-mannered flashlight. We'll come back to that. Other stuff in here, nothing too fancy. There's a lanyard, which before I forget, will go on to the flashlight right there. If you're a lanyard person, some extra salt and an extra O-ring. There's of course also the instruction pamphlet, as it were. But here's the light. This light is an interesting one, like I said, because what would appear to be just a normal standard flashlight is special because this head swivels. Maybe you remember the way old school right angle military flashlights. I remember playing with my dad's back when I was 3 or 4. So I always thought it was cool because it was this big, huge light. It probably put out like 30 lumens, who knows. But I always thought it was kind of a cool light because it was that right angle flashlight. And so this is going to be an interesting light. This is uses for this. It's going to be a task light. Something to keep in your toolbox, something to keep in your tool belt. If you work in something where you need to use a light a lot, maybe you're a plumber, you're a repairman, you work in some type of electrical industry where you're in places where you need a lot of light, this one is going to be handy. The other interesting thing about this is that this tail cap is magnetic, such that if you are working somewhere and you need to mount this light, you got a wall, stick it on the wall, stick it on the ceiling, and then you can take the head and swivel it to whatever angle you need to. You can almost point it at whatever task you're doing. So the head will go 90 degrees, 180, and everywhere in between. Pretty interesting design. And then with that magnetic tail cap, you'll be able to mount it wherever you like. Moving forward, the back here, let's just have a look at this. The back here, there's some knurling on the back. The pocket clip, initially, some people, obviously if you're not a pocket clip person, well, you take it, it comes off, it just pulls off right here. But initially I had concerns because there's so much of this light that would be sticking out of your pocket. However, the pocket clip is reversible. Either you can pull it off and put it back here, or you can actually just reverse this whole piece. And I'll show you the construction in just a minute. Moving forward, the button that works it, and then obviously onto the head. The head's got the anti-reflective coating on the glass with an orange peel reflector. Let's have a look at disassembly of this. So the magnet actually keeps the batteries in there. This works on 218 or 2 CR123s or 118-650. You can take this tailpiece off, and then if you like, you can just rotate it. This is the same, the tube is the same on both sides. So you can take this off and flip it around, or just rotate the whole tube if you like. Battery's back. I had some concerns. I always have concerns when you're using something that can take an 18650 and a CR123. The CR123s are obviously smaller. I always have concern about them rattling, but this one, because it has the springs on both ends, also by the way, there are O-rings on both ends right there. But because it has the springs, there is no rattle, so no concern about that. Let's have a look now at the user interface of this. The light is controlled solely by this side button. The side button, by the way, has a low battery indicator, so if it's flashing red, it means that the batteries are low and you need to change them, and if it's a solid red, it means that the batteries are fully depleted. This light has 6 modes from a Firefly. The way you get to the Firefly is you long press this, long press the button, and it comes on to 0.24 lumens. It'll do that for 69 days. Ought to give you enough time to do whatever you need. Otherwise, there's the 3 main modes, and you get to them by just a quick press. It has mode memory, so it'll come on to whatever mode you turned it off from. But the 3 modes, the way you move between them, you just hold it down. So low, medium, and high, and it just cycles back between them. 13 lumens, 141, and 440. From here, to get to the turbo, you just double press, and it goes up to 770. It'll do that for 130 minutes. And then to the strobe, double press again, and it will go into that strobe. And then you can hold it back down, and it'll go back down to the low. Just to show you the mode memory, put it onto high here, turn it off, back on, there it is at the high. So mode memory, turbo, And really this 440, that's going to be plenty bright for almost everything you need, I would imagine. It'll do that for 204 minutes. And even aside from that, 141 is the medium. That's also going to be plenty bright for most things that you're going to need. It's going to do that for 12 hours. There's the user interface, pretty straightforward. A bunch of modes, pretty low to pretty high, 770 lumens compared to those old style military lights that, like I said, probably put out 30. So this is nice and compact and super bright. Price on this, before I forget it, is $55.95. I'll throw an Amazon link down in the description. But there you go, another fancy light from Thrunite. Swivel head, lots of interesting uses for this. Magnetic back, reversible pocket clip. This is a nifty one. Check this one out, the Thrunite TN20.